What's happening, guys? Today I want to talk about what's the best way to start learning macros. Okay, so you've never tracked macros in your entire life. You haven't been tracking anything for a very long time. You have no clue where you're at, how much your intake is, anything like that. What should you do? What's the best way to start learning? All right. The best thing that you can do, in my opinion, is literally don't change a single thing about how you're eating, but just start tracking. All right, this is very important. All right, so a lot of times when we start tracking, what we're going to want to do, all right, you want to start losing some weight, you want to start, making a difference and make changes. So we will start reducing calories, we will watch what we eat, we will change our food choices, and we will start tracking that way. But the problem is you don't know where you're coming from and where you were before this. All right, so like you can't just look at some magic calculator online and say, okay, this is telling me how much I should eat, that's how much I should eat. Diet history and genetics go very far into determining what your maintenance calories are at that point. You have to understand that our metabolic rate is changing all the time. So by taking the time to not change your diet habits, but just tracking it, you can get a better understanding of where you're at currently in time and where your maintenance calories are. So if you're maintaining your weight the way you're eating now, and you track your intake for, say, a week or two, now you understand, okay, these are my maintenance calories, and you can make some adjustments from there. But the number one reason it makes a big difference to do this is it teaches you so much to just track and see. All right, I can't tell you, I have a couple questionnaires that I send out to all new clients or anybody interested in becoming a client. And one of the questions I have is, do you prefer carbs or fats? All right. Almost everybody says that they prefer carbs, or they will say it doesn't really make a difference to them. But what I find is almost everybody eats a lot of fat in comparison to their carb intake, right? So they'll be just blown away by the amounts of fats that they're actually consuming. And there's another thing that usually happens. Usually it's on one side of the spectrum or the other. They'll say, I can't believe that I am eating this many calories. I am shocked. Or they'll say, I can't believe I was eating this few calories. So just tracking will just tell you kind of where you're at and give you a better understanding, right? So many people think that they know exactly how they eat, but are just blown away with how much different it really is when you take the time to actually track it. But if you change your diet and don't take the time to understand where you're at now, it's really hard to kind of get that valuable learning lesson in. So I really recommend taking 2 weeks to track the same, or excuse me, to eat the same and just track it and get a better understanding of where you're at. Take an average of all those days, that's roughly your maintenance calories, and you can kind of go from there. And then you can start setting some macronutrient requirements from there and start trying to hit those, and that will teach you even more kind of what's in the foods that you eat and some of the stuff that will fit better or worse. You'll just get a much better understanding of things. I'm telling you, like, nothing teaches you more about nutrition in your body than actually tracking and trying to hit macros and understanding what's in food. So that's my recommendation to how to best learn how to start tracking macros. It's going to take time, it's going to take effort and patience, but the longer you do it, the easier it gets, the more you'll learn, the more you'll understand, and you'll get to a place where if you want to continue tracking, like, it really only takes like 5 minutes of your day, if even. And even when you don't track, you've learned so much that it's pretty easy to stay on track and kind of understand where you're at, just because you've learned so much from this period. So that's what I recommend. Any questions, as always, let me know, and I will talk to you guys later.
I'm addicted to the love that you're giving. Every minute, every day I've been craving.